We're recording now. Okay, and welcome everybody, and thanks so much for joining. I'm going to just take you through a very quick presentation about our Greek Odyssey cruise that's happening next September. And we'll talk a little bit about our ship. I think all or most of you were on the call last week with Celebrity, and so you got a real full version of what Celebrity Cruises is about. And so I don't need to go over that again. But I feel I'm very sorry that they didn't touch on our itinerary much at all. They just kind of gave a real brief overview of what's happening in their itineraries next year. And they really did focus on the new ships, which are the Edge class series of ships, which, I mean, they want to brag about how great they are. So our ship is, the Infinity is part of the Millennium class, which is a little older. So we're going to talk about our ship. We're going to talk about the itinerary a bit, and then also just what's included, all the inclusions that we have in this trip. So let's get started. So first of all, our route is going to be here as shown on the map. We start and end in Athens. From Athens, we'll go to Santorini. Then we'll go over to Ephesus. We'll sail back to Mykonos. Then we'll go up to Volos, which is on the mainland of Greece, and then up to Thessaloniki and Kavala, or Kavala. Marie, you might have to correct me on how I'm doing my pronunciations. and then back to Athens. So first of all, we start in Santorini. That's our first stop. And Santorini is the place where you see all the pictures. Whenever somebody posts a picture of Greece, usually it's Santorini, because it's those beautiful white buildings and the blue roofs. And they're like the blue of the sky and the blue of the sea just go together to make, it's just awe-inspiring to be there. So we're going to be spending the day in Santorini. And the next day we're going to be in Ephesus. And so it's going to be quite a difference going from Santorini, that's so romantic and picturesque and beautiful, and then going to Ephesus and stepping back in time 2,000 years. So when we do our tour of Ephesus, or if you're going to be booking the tour, you're going to get a tour of Ephesus included. We'll visit the amphitheater, the library, the main street of Ephesus. It's amazing how much is still intact when you think that this city was built way more than 2,000 years ago. And those were the very steps of places where Paul walked. And even in the amphitheater, there was a time when he stood up in Ephesus and spoke to people, like he was actually speaking in this amphitheater. So it's going to be very exciting to be able to see that. And then we'll head to Mykonos. Mykonos is another iconic island that it's very typical in that it has the white buildings and like little alleyways. It's a much smaller island, so it's an easy island to just get off the ship and wander. You don't have to take a shore excursion. You can just wander around the town, sit down in a little cafe and have a glass of ouzo or have a nice coffee, and just enjoy the scenery. Now, I've never been to Volos, so I don't know exactly what we're going to see there, but I do know that it's a port city, of course, and it's got a lot of nice cafes. There's a mountain behind it, and there's a lot of a few like ancient buildings. I won't say ruins, but ones from the 13th and 14th century there to see. And I'll be able to give you more information as we get closer when I see what they list as even as the shore excursions. And then we'll go to the ancient city of Thessalonica, or Thessaloniki. And that's another city that Paul visited. And one of the two of the letters he wrote to the Thessalonian church. And so that will be really exciting to see how the modern city and then the ancient city as well. When we go to Kavala, that's actually the ancient city of Philippi. It's nearby. It's like half an hour away. And this picture is the baptistry of St. Lydia that has been built, but also just behind there is the river, that it's on the Zygatus River. And so we'll see the river, or that area where Lydia was meeting with a group of people, and Paul came and met with them when he heard that the early church was there. It's got to let something in. So that will be really interesting to see, to actually be there in that spot where Paul met with the early Christians, the new Christians at Philippi. And we are going to have 2 days at sea. So you're going to have time to relax in the spa, or there's a number of other things you'll be able to do on your day at sea as well. And I'll talk about them in a minute. But I wanted to show you some of the aspects of our ship, the Celebrity Infinity. It's not really a small ship, but according to the standards of the new ships they were showing last week, it's considered small. It's one of their baby ships. However, there's like 1,900 passengers on board. But it has really nice public spaces, and some of the not just the public spaces, but the staterooms that I'm going to show you that we have booked are also really nice. I don't know why I chose this slide first, but this is just a picture of the martini bar. Celebrity ships always have the martini bar as kind of like their flagship bar. And the bartenders like to put on a little show, pouring the martinis over their heads and doing different things like that, which is kind of fun. But if you like quiet spaces, the Cellar Masters Wine Bar is a great place to hang out, not just like it doesn't have to be in the evening, it can be in the daytime too. It's quite a large area, and it just reminds me of being in a library or one of those old clubs where you can just kind of sit and be tucked away and you can just sit and read a book. You don't have to order a glass of wine, but it's just a really nice space to go where you might want to relax. And I wanted to include a picture of the Cafe Al Bacio, which is one of the flagship areas of every celebrity ship as well, because I know that some of you are probably thinking, well, there's a beverage package included, and I'm not going to be drinking alcohol, so I don't need a beverage package. But the beverage package includes all the specialty coffees from Cafe Al Bacio as well. And so you might want to just go and get a latte one afternoon, or a cappuccino or an espresso, and that's included in the beverage package. And also part of the cafe here, they have a gelato case, and also some really great biscotti and cookies. So you can just go and have a nice afternoon coffee, just to enjoy, sit and enjoy. And this is the main dining room, the trellis dining room. It looks quite large here and very spectacular, because it reminds me of one of those dining rooms of the older ships, like the Titanic. I hate to mention the Titanic when we're talking about cruising, but like it was kind of like had that nice staircase coming down. And it does have a huge space, but there's also some other areas in the dining room that are kind of like tables tucked away. So you don't have to sit in the main big area. You can also sit, get a table that's, by one of the windows, or just tucked away in a little alcove. And there's also a buffet restaurant, the Ocean View Cafe, which is open for breakfast and lunch as well. And dinner. You could go and have dinner there if you want to. And there's always something different on the menu. And they have like different areas and stations where you can go and pick up your food. Now, just to talk about some of the things you can do on your day off or your day at sea, there's a lot of activities that they will plan for you. And one of them is a galley tour. If you've never been on a ship's galley, especially after you've eaten in the dining room and you realize how are they cooking all of this food for 1,900 people, plus they have all the staff on board as well. It's really, really interesting to go and get a tour of the galley and see how they put everything together, and they're working in such a small space, and yet they bring it out and the presentation is gorgeous when they bring it to your table. So it's quite interesting to see the galley tour and just see how much food they go through. And also, one of the things that they feature on the galley tour is how do you want to say this, environmentally responsible they are, and how they get rid of waste. Is really interesting to hear them talk about that. And this is one of my favorite areas, the solarium, especially if you're on a cruise where it's really hot. So in September, it could be really hot. It was this past September in Greece. And it's just really nice to be able to go into an area that's covered and it's air conditioned and it's cool, but it's a heated pool. And there's a main pool in the solarium. There's also a whirlpool and some really nice relaxing beds and areas that you can just sit and read a book or sit with a beverage, or just sit and chat and kind of watch the ocean going by. But there's also the main pool and the sun deck. So if you're a sun lover, the main pool and the sun deck is probably where you want to be. And there's also whirlpool pools in that area as well. And you can see up on the deck above, the second deck going around, that deck will go the full length of the ship. So if you love to walk, there's lots of other areas up on that area, that top deck, where you can just actually walk and do laps around the length of the ship if you want. So I know we have some walkers here tonight who would probably like to do that. Now, this wouldn't be for your day at sea, but any of your evenings, you're probably going to want to check out the Celebrity Theater. And it's actually very cozy theater. It's not like huge, gigantic, but it's a great place for the evening. They do 2 shows in a night, and they do anything from Broadway shows to song and dance. Like they'll do like a comedy show. They have quite a variety of shows through the week that they will offer, and that's every night. And so if you like to go early for dinner, then you can go to the later show. Or if you like to go later for dinner, you can go to the show before you go for dinner. So you have that choice. They'd always do 2 shows. If quieter areas are more your style, the Constellation Lounge usually has entertainment in the evening as well. And it's more like a jazz band that will be playing, or a jazz singer, or something like soft rock or something like that, or soft pop. And it's just a really nice, quieter area to go and relax. And then, of course, on your day at sea, you might want to go to the spa. And the Canyon Ranch Spa has every single spa treatment you could ever think of, from massages to like you could get your hair done, you could get your hair colored, you could go for eyebrow tinting, you can go for all sorts of things. Acupuncture, I see, is on the sign there. But they also have a thermal suite. So if you don't want to go for a massage, say, well, first of all, if you go for a massage, then the thermal suite is included. But if you don't want to go for any of the spa services, you could just go and book into the thermal suite. And there's a nominal fee for that. But the thermal suite, this is one of the areas here. There's a lot of different areas. Like there's a sauna, there's a what they call emotional shower, where it's like hot and cold and jets coming at you from all different areas. And you kind of walk through it and you go through this course in the suite. And they even have a Turkish hammam. And that's like a Turkish steam bath. So it's quite fun to do that for a couple of hours on your day at sea. And then, of course, they have a full gym too. So if you're into Peloton, or if you're into just lifting weights or doing a class, they have scheduled classes. And of course, you can see all the bikes there, but also a lot of other equipment that you can use, and treadmills, of course, too. So if you are into fitness, that's something that you'll definitely want to be doing, not just on your at-sea days, but maybe in some evenings or mornings. So we've got 2 stateroom categories to choose from. And I haven't booked. The reason that there's only 2 is because the rest of the ship is sold out. All the regular verandas are sold out, but we reserved a number of concierge staterooms, and a number of, and the concierge have a veranda, but they have a little extra. So they are like a veranda stateroom, but concierge just means you get some extras. And I'm going to tell you what those are in a minute. And then we have ocean view staterooms. So all of the staterooms that we have come equipped with a minibar fridge, and it's fully stocked, but it's not included in your beverage package. There's snacks in there, and there's bottles of wine and stuff. But if you want to, it will be replenished daily if you use it, but there is a fee for those. They come with a safe, handheld hair dryers, telephones, and interactive TVs. So the televisions have channels like CNN, ESPN, and movie channels. But when I say interactive, I mean that you can use the TV to order room service. It'll show you the itinerary for the next day, and everything that's available in all the different areas of the ship. And also you can view your shipboard account on the TV as well. And in every stateroom, there are two 110 electrical outlets and two 220 electrical outlets at the desk. So if you want to bring a converter, then you would be able to convert the 220 to a 110, and then or vice versa. But our appliances are 110, and over there they have 220 and 110. So you would technically have three 110 outlets. And then that way, for charging, like if you do bring a laptop or you're charging your phones, or if you have a CPAP machine, or you need to charge a digital camera and anything like that, you'll have those outlets. If you only need the two outlets, then all you need is an adapter. Well, actually, you don't need an adapter because technically, the 110s you don't need an adapter for, but the 220, your cell phone charger and your say if you do bring a laptop, those outlets are or those charging cables are usually dual voltage, so they're 110 and 220. So all you need is an adapter for those. You don't even need to bring a converter, which is the converters are the heavy boxes, so you don't really need to bring those. You just need an adapter. The only thing you would need a converter for would be if you have something like, say, if you do sleep with a CPAP machine and it doesn't have dual voltage, then you would want to have a converter, but you probably wouldn't need it because you could use the 110 for that. So I would say you probably don't even need a converter. So the concierge veranda, here's what you're going to get in the concierge. What's notable about them is they are in a prime location on the ship. They're near the aft of the ship. They're 194 square feet, and they have a veranda that's 54 square feet. And you get some extra perks when you're in the concierge. You get a pillow menu, so you can tell them what kind of pillows you prefer. You get daily fresh fruit delivered to your stateroom. You get, on the day that you embark, you get sparkling wine sitting in a cooler for you. Every afternoon, you'll get hors d'oeuvres delivered to your stateroom. You get the use of binoculars too. And special bathrobes, upgraded shower heads. You'll get a celebrity tote bag, and you get an expanded room service menu. And also you have the services of a concierge. The concierge desk is located in the library, and they will book spa appointments for you. They'll book the shore excursions, so you don't have to go to the shore excursion desk. They'll just do anything that you need, or they're just a really great place to get information. And when you check in, you get priority check-in. You'll have exclusive use of a pre-departure lounge. So when when it's time to get off the ship, you'll have use of that lounge. And that lounge has free coffee and juices. You get express luggage service, priority disembarkation, and shoe shine. Okay, say this really 3 times fast. Shoe shine service. And you also get preference of where you sit in the specialty dining rooms and the main dining rooms. I actually didn't show any pictures of the specialty dining rooms, but there are a few of them. There's one that's a sushi restaurant. There's a steak restaurant. There's there's one other one, and I can't remember what kind it is, but those specialty dining, you get preferential seating in those. Here's just a photo of the veranda on the concierge, in the concierge veranda. And you actually get, it doesn't show it here, but you get padded chairs as opposed to the regular verandas. They get regular chairs like this. Your bathrobes, your mini bar. And then here's what the ocean view stateroom is like. So you can see the window on the far wall there, and it's basically a porthole. It looks like it's a bigger window because it's got a light in it, but then when you open the curtains, you're going to see a porthole. The stateroom's about the same size. You get the desk in the same area, and you get a couch there. They do really make great use of space, so that you can put your luggage under the bed. You can unpack all of your stuff from your luggage, and there's lots of cupboard and shelf space for you to put all your stuff away. You do get a safe in your room with all the staterooms and the hair dryer there and an umbrella. The bathrooms are pretty tiny on a cruise ship, as they are on all cruise ships. However, they really know how to make the best use of space. And so every available area of space is utilized. And you'll see there's cupboards underneath the sink, and there really is enough space to put away all your toiletries in those cupboards. So you don't have to have stuff sitting out. So here's the pricing. It is on this is just from the website. The concierge veranda stateroom is $48.79 per person for double occupancy, plus port charges of $173. And that includes your taxes as well. And then the ocean view stateroom is $38.09 with $173 in port charges and taxes for double occupancy. So your inclusions, you're going to get a beverage package with either stateroom. You're going to get Wi-Fi. You're going to get your shipboard gratuities, and you're going to get 2 nights pre-cruise in Athens. And our hotel that we're staying in has a fantastic view of the Acropolis. So our stay in Athens will include breakfast and 1 dinner the first night. And then you'll get your transfers from the airport to the hotel, then from the hotel to the cruise port, and then from the cruise port to the airport. We'll be having a tour of Athens and Acropolis on the second day. And also on the second evening, we'll be taken to the Plaka, which is an area of Athens that's like all pedestrian walkways and closed off. A lot of it is closed off to traffic. And there will be taken to a traditional Greek restaurant for a dinner and show, a folk dancing show, Greek song and folk dancing. And also I will be providing you with a $50 onboard credit. That's above and beyond what you're going to get because you attended the celebrity event last week. Now, if you do book in the veranda, concierge veranda, you will receive a $300 US onboard credit per stateroom. So that was part of the show offer that they gave last week, and it was for verandas and up. So unfortunately, it doesn't include it's not included with the ocean view, but it is with the veranda. So you can see that that's an extra value too. And that is, I should go back, because that is if you have to book by December 1st, which is tomorrow, to get that $300 onboard credit. But I also, because I've included the half day tour of Ephesus, it's like a 2/3 day of Ephesus, that if you book your spot by December 16th, you'll get a complimentary tour as well. And that's when we're in Ephesus on October 1st. So all that I will need from you by tomorrow is, if you're going to book by tomorrow, is a deposit of $480. That'll reserve your stateroom. And then for the land portion, I'm calling it a second deposit, but basically the land payment is due on April 20th. And then the balance of your cruise is due on June 20th. So that's the timeline that we're looking at. And I'm going to open it up for questions. So if you have a question, you can either put it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and just ask a question. Don't be shy.
Flight. How much would the flight be?
Well, it depends on when you book, because right now with Transat and with Air Canada, you're looking at approximately $1,300 per person per flights. And that's a direct flight. And that includes 1 checked bag. But of course, the longer you leave it, the prices go up. So that's why it's hard to say. That was the rates yesterday were $1,300. Now you might be able to get a bit of a savings if you connected with another airline, but I don't really like, if I can get a direct flight for you, I'd rather do that, because the more connections you have, the greater chance of your luggage being lost or a
Mhm.
schedule change. So it's better to just go directly to the place where you want to be, and then you get right there.
So do we fly as a group or no?
No, but I'm
No.
going to, there's only one direct flight per day with Air Canada, and same with Transat on those dates. So I imagine we will be on either one of those flights.
Okay.
But and they both leave around the same time. I think the fact that they're about the same price right now, I would prefer to go with Air Canada, just because there's more flights available if they did a schedule change or anything like that. Transat only has like 4 flights a week to Athens in
Okay.
September. So Air Canada is our best bet right now, just because of the, they have more flights available, and they could say if there was a mechanical failure on the plane, which of course you hope that never happens, but if there was something like that, they could take us through Frankfurt, or they could take us through London and easily get us on another flight, and we would get there around the same time.
Okay.
Now the air cost would be due when you book.
Right. Yeah.
However, I haven't checked lately with Celebrity Air. If you book the cruise, we can also try and get the air through Celebrity. And if the rates are similar, then you don't pay for the air until you make your final payment on the cruise. So that's what's kind of nice about booking with the cruise line, is that you get that leeway on the payment for the cruise.
Okay. And do you handle that, Judy?
Yeah. So
Okay.
what I would do is when I book your stateroom, I would check the air rates as well. And then I would come back to you and just say, okay, here's what Air Canada is, here's what Transat is, and here's what Air Canada with Celebrity is, because they will book Air Canada. And you can ask Celebrity to even do different routings, but direct, as I said, is best. So they would choose the Air Canada. That would be their go-to for the direct flight. There's nobody else that goes direct.
Thanks, Judith. That was a good, helpful clarification on a bunch of fronts. Just really probably a silly question, but the $300 onboard credit, if we book by tomorrow, is that per person, or is it per booking? Or
that's per stateroom.
Per stateroom.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And so what they do is they basically, after you've booked, they will actually just add it onto your shipboard account. So when it comes time for you to actually create a profile, and you want to start booking your shore excursions or whatever, you can do that like a few months ahead of time. You'll be able to see on there that you've got that credit, and you can use that credit towards your shore excursions. You can use it towards specialty dining. You could use it towards photography packages, or like anything over and above what you've already got included. There is they've actually just gone to an upgraded Wi-Fi. So I don't think you would need to upgrade your Wi-Fi. They've gone to Starlink. So
okay,
I don't think you need to upgrade that. So really, yeah, anything that's not included already, there's always, I don't know. I can't think of anything other than a photography package, a specialty dining, or a shore excursion, but I'm sure there's other things as well.
Okay, thanks. Those are all my questions.
Okay. I'm going to stop the recording. I can find it. Oh, I didn't know Marie was out. She just came back in. Okay, stop the recording. I don't even see where it is.